I loved printing. So I just fell in love with printing when I got there. And so I chose to follow and check and follow through the process. I'm always with the guys on the machine here and there. But like I said, when he introduced the part of plotter here and installing system up and down, because of my personal interest, I showed interest in it. That was how my boss told me to go and get system for the geography department of Unilag then. I went, bought the materials, installed the system. After when I finished installing it, I felt fulfilled. I felt happy that, I could put this system together. Now, let me tell you the benefits. When I went to do GIS in Oyo, my own system was having issues. So I was opening up the system. I'm talking of the CPU. Why? Because I took interest while I was working with my former boss. I chose to champion his own vision. And I reaped the benefits when I was on my own. Because it will mean I have to be carrying my system from Oyo to Lagos Computer Village every now and then. But because I had gained experience while working with him, all I knew was a screwdriver. Open the system up and then put it together. So you may need to do what? Champion it. Take the leader's vision and make it what? A reality. There's a table here that compared those who championed vision and those who did not. So those who championed vision, they place the organization's need first. While those who do not champion it, they place their own need first. It's about me. Whatever the organization, like Yoruba would say, Ogota, Ogauta, Uwalaro Akwe. That means whether the business is making progress or not, they care less. What they're after is their emolument. Those who champion the vision, they keep before the people. Those who don't champion the vision, they keep themselves before the people. Those who champion the vision, they represent me well to others. That means they represent the vision well to others. The others who don't keep the vision, they represent themselves well to others. It's just about them. When people don't believe in that vision, it's about them. They rather sell themselves than sell the vision of the organization or the team. Those who champion the vision, they understand their roles. Those who don't, they don't understand their role. They are neither here or there. Those guys are easily kicked out of organization at the time of appraisal. The sixth and the final point there is that you are supposed to add value to it. The most positive response to a leader's vision is to go beyond championing it and to actually add value to it. At that point, the vision becomes something more. It has greater value to the leader, greater value to the recipient of the vision, and greater value to the person who contributed to it. Because at this time, you already made the vision yours. The vision is yours. And so you are producing. You are turning out results. In fact, at that moment, people will be calling you Omoga. They'll be calling you Omoga because they will also, some who don't understand you, they will think you are doing eye service. Because you've made the vision yours. You can swim, you just be churning out results. And then when you are churning out results, what happens? You get benefits at the end of the day for it. Praise the Lord. We've come to the end of challenge 6. Let me quickly run to challenge 7. It's not much. This one is the influence challenge. The influence challenge. This one is key. This one is what? Key. Influence is defined as the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone. I will take it again. Influence is defined as the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something. The influence challenge. Leading others beyond your position is not easy. Here we are told to think influence, not position. We have said that's capacity to have an effect on the character, the development, or behavior of somebody. It is not influence here. It's not your position that is. We'll see it. It's not about your position. It's about who you are. Who you are. He said, as you have read about the previous 6 challenges, perhaps you have felt that their impact on you is minimal. If so, you can consider yourself fortunate. Now, nobody, however, escapes the influence challenge. Nobody. No matter how wonderful an organization you work for or how great your boss is, leading others beyond your position is not easy. If real leadership were easy, anybody would do it. And everyone could excel at it. Now, most good leaders believe in themselves and their leadership. They are confident that if others will follow them, then the team will benefit and accomplish its goal. So why doesn't that always happen? That's the question we want to try and tackle. Why don't people who report to them line up to follow? Why is it that you think you have that leadership skills or ability, but people who report to you don't really they don't get influenced by you? Why? If you have neither position nor influence, people will not follow you. Leadership is influence. Leadership is influence. For a middle level leader, if you don't have influence, people will not follow you. Now, this influence we are talking about is not based on your position, because you are not even you are not the departmental head, you are not the leader. You are just a team player. You are in a team there, trying to do what? To contribute your own quota. Some, because of position, cannot influence anyone. And because they are not in position, they cannot influence anybody. And so they keep complaining that it's because I'm not the team head. That's not the reason. It's because you actually cannot influence. And we'll see the reason why you cannot influence in this book. People follow leaders. It is a fallacy to believe that people will automatically follow you because you are in a position. People follow leaders. And leaders have what? Influence. It is the influence that the leader has that makes him a leader. Hello? Is that influence that leader has that makes him what? A leader. It's not his position. The influence he carries is what makes him what? A leader. So people will follow a leader. In other words, people follow leaders that have what? Influence. Do people follow you today? If they follow you today, when you're in position, would they still follow you tomorrow? If they are compelled to follow you because of your position, if your position is taken away, do you think they will follow you? The only solution to the influence challenge is to become the kind of leader other people want to follow. Become a leader that people naturally will want to follow. And who are these people? People follow leaders they know. They follow leaders they know. Leaders who care. No, beyond position, beyond being called the head of the department. A leader that goes out of that, how do you call it now? That tight, whatever thing that the organization put together, who relate with people. Are leaders who people want to follow. You relate with you care. How are you today? One of the things that made me work with Indians for a while was because my boss would always compliment me. Whenever I come in, he would say, "Wumi, I like your tie. I like your dress." That alone. People who follow leaders that they know. If you care, Your countenance is not right today. The person is asking you, hope no problem. A leader that cares. People generally respond by becoming defensive. Many people try to move others by criticizing them or trying to power up on them. Now, some try to feel that if they exert authority, people will follow them. It's a lie. You cannot antagonize and influence at the same time. You can't. You're always talking down on your people. You're always talking down on them. They will not follow you. You don't at any time appreciate them. You know, if you care, you will see the way people will respond to you. You cannot antagonize and influence them at the same time. If leaders care about each individual as a person, then people respond well to them. The greater the depth of their concern, the broader and longer lasting their influence. If you care, you will notice when that young boy or that young lady does not have money to eat that day. If you care. And if you come through for them in those circumstances, they naturally will gravitate towards you. And so when you ask them to do a thing, they double the effort. Because they know that you care. But if all you care is about it, work, and you care not about their individual person, then you won't be able to influence them. True. So people follow leaders who care. People follow leaders that they trust. People follow leaders that they trust. Leaders with character. Political theorist Thomas Paine said, I love the man that can smile in trouble, that can gather strength from distress, and grow brave by reflection. This is the business of little mind to shrink, but he whose heart is firm and whose conscience approve his conduct will pursue his principle unto death. Now, people follow leaders that they can trust. When your yea is yea, you exert influence. If you are always coming back on your words and always repenting of promises, they cannot trust you. They will not follow you because you cannot influence them. But if every time you give your word, even when it is painful, to meet those promises, you go out of your way to do it. They can trust you. They feel they can bank on you. So they follow leaders with character. What gives a leader the strength to exhibit such admirable quality? The answer is what? Character. That when things are not when things are not going, I remember when I first moved into where I live now, I drove my car there and I said, this car, you have done enough, no more. So I parted with that car. There are times I'm trekking home and I'm dancing on the road. I'm just dancing home. I'm trekking and I'm dancing. You don't allow stress to get through you. You smile in time of trouble. You gather strength from within. We tend to put a lot of emphasis on intelligence and skills. Those things are important, but they cannot substitute for strong character. They can't. So we must be people that can be trusted. People with what? Character. I wrote here, I said that deceit smells. Deceit smells. The people around you can perceive it. Pastor says it stinks. Deceit stinks. Smells. People around you can perceive it. But most time you think they cannot. The fact that they are not responding to you does not mean they cannot perceive it. They're just looking at you and just laughing at you. So be a person that can be trusted. Let your word be your bond. People follow leaders they respect. Leaders who are competent. Leaders who are what? Competent. You know, if you, my youngest daughter, you know, whenever the generator is down, she just believes that daddy can fix it. She just believes that daddy can fix it. So we had an experience, you know, one of those days I came back from church and it was Sunday like this. The generator was not working. I said, Daddy, the generator is not working. So she said, Daddy, I said, it's late. She said, Daddy, I will give you light. I will provide light. Why? Because over time, you know, I will go to the generator. I will fix it whenever we have issues, like small issues. That my daughter feels, because I have the tools at home. Anyway, I have tools at home. So she feels that Daddy can fix it. That day, both of us battled. Daddy could not fix it. All I'm trying to say is that, you know, it's because over time, Daddy will go to the generator and make it happen. So they believe Daddy can fix it. People follow leaders that what they respect, people that are competent. You know, when you are competent, you are a problem solver at your place of work. You exert influence, naturally have influence over the people that you lead. I had a job to do yesterday at work. I didn't wait for others to come. Before they came, I sorted out so many of the tasks. So by the time they were walking in, I just told them, please, can you conclude this, conclude this, conclude this. But if you are the type that's only waiting for them to come and do it, they will not follow you. People follow leaders that they respect, that are competent. You are equally doing it. You are not only leaving the task to them to do. People follow leaders that they can approach. Leaders that are consistent. Consistency is key here. Consistent. They can approach. If you say you are at point A, you are at point A. They meet you where you are. But if you are inconsistent, no, in a place, there's a test I usually fail. Clients call me and say, give me a quote for a book of so and so number of page. And they are waiting on that call to give you, for you to give you price immediately. And most times, I like to go and do the costing before I come back to you. So some of them can put pressure on you and say, can I have the cost immediately? And give me an idea. You know, the way they push you, give me an idea. And so you commit yourself and give them a figure. By the time you go and work it out, the figure is not working. Man, it's difficult to go back and tell them that that figure is not going to work. Usually very, very difficult. So do what? Just take your time and try to be what? Consistent. Let them know that I will get back to you. Even if they're trying to put pressure on you, I will do what? I will get back to you. Go off the phone and do what you need to do. People like people who can what? Who are consistent. Praise God. No. If you are the type that always delay, you know, or finding a way to dodge things, you won't have people to follow you. You won't exert influence. People follow leaders they admire. Leaders with commitment. I like this. Commitment. Leaders with commitment. He told a story. He said, I love the story of a farmer who had experienced several bad years and went to see the manager of his bank. He says, I've got some good news and some bad news to tell you. He told the banker, which would you like first? We're talking about people with commitment now. So the banker says, okay, why don't you tell me the bad news first and get it over with? The bank manager replied. He said, okay. So with the bad drought and inflation and all, I won't be able to pay anything on my mortgage this year. Bad news. either on the principal or the interest. The banker said, pretty bad. So you have not heard it yet too. It says, it gets worse. I also won't be able to pay anything on the loan for all the other machinery I bought. The guy said, wow, that's really bad. He said, the story has not ended. It's worse than that. Continued the farmer. You remember I also borrowed to buy seeds and fertilizer and other supplies. Well, I can't pay anything on that either, principal or interest. Now, here is the point. The man over the years has been consistent in the place of commitment. And so when he was going to tell this story, the banker was ready to what? Listen, take a listen. But if you are the type that's always telling stories, before you tell the next story, the person will say, Atigbo. Honestly, they've given up on you. So when you want to tell the next story, Atigbo, they will. In their mind, we know you. So we already know what you are coming to tell. And you cannot have influence. You can't have people to follow you. We are trying to say in this challenge that do away with those things that will not make people follow you. Because in the first place, you're on this side of eternity to be a blessing. And if you're going to be a blessing, one or two people will depend on you. And those people who are the one that they will follow you. You will have followers. Like Jesus Christ had followers. He expects us to do what? To have followers. Sorry, look like I'm going to Pastor Mark's territory. Praise God. So he concluded by saying, he gave an acrostic about influence. He says, I stands for integrity. He said, build relationships on trust. He said, N stands for nurturing. Care about people as individuals. F for faith. You believe in people. L for listening. Values what others have to say. U, understanding. Sees from their point of view. E, enlarging. Helps others become bigger. N, navigating. Assist others through difficulties. C, connecting. Initiate positive relationship. And finally, E, empowering. Gives them the power to lead. If you work hard to do all these things with the people in your organization, you will overcome the influence challenge. If you can key into this acrostic here, integrity, nurturing, faith, listening, understanding, enlarging, navigating, connecting, and empowering, man, people will gravitate towards you. With this, we'll come to the end of this challenge and this section of these 3 systems.